Hey guys, welcome back to another Warhammer review. We have the Necron Flayed one up for review today from McFarlane Toys. The back of the package has some pictures from Wave 3, and on the side of the package we have a large picture of the Flayed one. The figure comes in easy to remove packaging, although like all other Warhammer releases, you need to tear the box to get the standout. McFarlane brings us more Necrons in Series 3 with the Flayed one Necron. Flayed ones are a bit of an oddity in the Necron army. They have a unique cursed disease that makes them hunger for flesh. When Necrons were transferred into their robotic bodies, a few of them were inflicted with the hunger for flesh that drives them mad. As machines, Flayed ones can never eat the meat they crave, so they just smear the meat and wear the skin from their victims all over their body. They also went through some mutations that shapes their fingers into long bladed claws and growing additional limbs. To make things worse, the Flayed ones developed an ability to travel between dimensions. Whenever they detect a Necron army attacking, they teleport in just to seek out more flesh. Flayed ones are even hated by other Necrons, as they run the risk of catching the disease from them. Any Necron suspected of having the disease is either destroyed or banished before they can affect others. Let's check out the details. The Flayed one has skin draped across his head. The robotic skull underneath has green glowing eyes with a bronze metal finish. On the right side, we see the skin stretched all the way to the back of the head. On the other side, we can see more details like wrinkled up skin and the dents in the armor of the Necron. The robotic ribcage has many scratches, dents, and chips detailing the armor. The ankh of the Triarch in the center is extremely worn out. On the back, we can see large shoulder plates with skin bolted on. We can notice large spikes on the back and a socket to install more later on in the review. The left shoulder plate has heavy battle damage with large holes in the armor. We can get a better look here at the skin hanging down. The bolts holding the flesh in place here are also flesh colored. Just a dab of paint here would have went a long way. On the right shoulder plate we have an actual face bolted onto the armor. It's very well sculpted, gives a grotesque appearance. One thing to notice is that there's actually a light wash on the flesh. One thing that bothered me is how the flesh has no blood on it, but zoomed in with the camera you can actually see a tiny bit of paint. It's to the point where it's not noticeable with the eye, so I don't know why they even bothered, but a little bit more thick paint would have given a better effect of blood. Taking a look at the arms, we can see a lot of dents in the armor, along with burn marks in the paint. The Flayed ones have bladed fingers. Long and sharp, the blades bend inward, giving them a claw-like appearance. On the waist we can see the skeletal spine and pelvis, and on the back we can see even more detail on the spine. The thighs are cracked and missing parts of armor. We can notice more of that singed effect all over the legs. We have robotic hydraulic legs here with more of that stained copper color. We finish up the figure with burned and battered feet. Corroded metal and burn marks cover the armor all over. Let's check out the articulation. We have a ball jointed head, a ball joint at the socket of the shoulder that opens and closes and rotates around, elbows that bend in and out, with rotation that will get blocked by the sculpt, wrists that bend and rotate, and claws that rotate in and out. The thumb claw has no articulation. We have a ball jointed chest, and another ball joint at the waist that lets the figure really hunch over. Legs that open and close and bend forward and back. Knees that bend back and have slight rotation. Ankles that bend up and down and rotate. And toes that bend up and down. We have a piece of spine with a large peg to attach on the back. To install the spine, you just peg it into the socket. And we get a McFarlane stand with the Warhammer logo on it. Comparing the Flayed one with the standard Necron warrior, both are about the same height, but the Flayed one's chest and neck are designed to be hunched over. Both standing straight up have similar height, but one thing to notice is that both share the exact same mold for the bottom half. The pelvis, thighs, legs, and feet are the same for both figures. Comparing him to a Space Marine, the Flayed one looks very short when he's hunched over. The Necron Flayed one is a much needed reinforcement for the Warhammer line. It's always good to see more figures for the same race, giving you more options in army building. Even though the figures share some of the same parts of the original Necron figure, there's enough new parts to make them look unique and consider buying. The fleshy parts are surprisingly detailed and even disgusting to look at. Accessory wise, we only get a small piece of spine, That doesn't really make any sense to be separate from the body unless they needed the space to save on the box or something. I don't really mind the lack of accessories for this figure, but I do wonder where did the value from them missing go to? A piece of flesh or a corpse effect would have been nice. One criticism I have of the figure and the Warhammer line in general is that the paint is pretty light. The skin could definitely use some blood or even dirtied up a little, and while there is an actual small amount of detail on them, it's so light it might as well not even be there. The bolts holding the flesh in place being flesh colored makes the figure look unfinished. Overall, it's still a great figure. The joints lock into place, everything feels solid in the articulation, and it's more Necrons for the Marines to shoot at. The Flayed one is unique enough to stand out in your collection and is a nice horror figure even outside the Warhammer universe. I'm looking forward to new sculpts in the Warhammer series. The quality of the figures and sculpting have been top notch so far. The Flayed one has a place in anyone's collection. I would definitely pick them up. Also, make sure to keep an eye out for the variant that has a different flesh design on the figure. Alright guys, that's it for this review. More reviews are coming up soon, so check out my other videos while you wait.